All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Who's Right podcast. And here we go. Here's our reaction to the Pete Alonso signing. But before we get into all that, subscribe to the channel. Let us know how you feel about Pete. I'm going to tell you how I feel about Pete. Victor's going to tell you how he feels about Pete. Hey, like this video, let us know how you feel. I don't know how to feel right now, but before we get into it, Victor, how you doing?
How can you not feel anything but pure joy right now? This is a win-win on both sides. The Mets win, the Pete wins. We all win as fans. We win. We get to see records broken this year. We get to see the best lineup that I've seen since I can remember watching baseball. And man, dude, Pete Alonso is back in the Mets uniform for 2025, right on time. And so, love to see it. I think all fans are ecstatic about this news. All fans except you, for some reason, are still not on board with this move. What's going on, man?
You know what? Okay, let's get this straight. I'm on board with this move because Pete makes us a better team. Um, but right now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am not feeling great. You know what I mean? I wanted Pete back. You know I wanted Pete back in the beginning of the season. So it's not like I didn't want Pete back, but this saga has left a sour taste in my mouth, right? And so that's where I'm at. I'm at with this whole thing. It's not even that I don't want Pete back. I was so fed up with this saga that I was actually at the point that I was ready to move on from Pete. And so I'm glad that he's back. He puts on that uniform on opening day. I'm gonna be rooting for him. But if he struggles, you're gonna hear my mouth.
Yeah, no, everyone was done with this saga. Even Steve Cohen was done with this saga. We got that hint from him last week or 2 weeks ago when you spoke at Amazing Day. But you know what the difference between you, me, and Steve Cohen is? Steve Cohen can get it done in the ways that we can't, and he got it done. He made sure to write that check, made sure to pencil in Pete Alonso for the season, and a lot of owners might just say, "Let's move on. We don't have to bid against ourselves, and we can drag this on to beyond spring training." But that's not what Steve Cohen does. That's not who Steve Cohen is. When Steve Cohen wanted something done, at the end of the day, he went to go get it done, and that's what he did. He got his guy. He got Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is better for it. Obviously, it's not the deal that he wanted. It doesn't nearly exceed the deal that he was offered on a full deal standpoint. But he gets the highest paid first baseman annual average value in MLB history, and so I'm sure he's walking in happy about that. But it's another proven deal for Pete Alonso, but at the end of the day, this is the best Mets lineup that we could ask for going into the 2025 season.
Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely, and that's the bottom line, right? The bottom line is that this lineup is gonna, having Pete in it is definitely gonna be better than trying to make it with a Brett Brady or whatever, even a Torkelson. Even though Torkelson has the potential of hitting 30 home runs because he's done it before, he struggled last year, and who knows about Torkelson? We know about Pete, and we know that he's going to hit 30, at least 30 home runs, hopefully 40 home runs. But and that was it. And then we get details about Steve Cohen, like you said, Steve Cohen getting on the plane with David Stearns, because honestly, I don't want to leave David Stearns out of this because Met fans can be like saying that this is all Steve Cohen, but at the end of the day, David Stearns is a big part of this. Just because we have an involved owner doesn't mean that Stearns is not doing his job or is that Steve Cohen is doing everything that he's doing. Just be happy that we have an involved owner the way he is. But don't take anything away from David Stearns, right? And so go ahead.
Yeah, no, you can't at all. This is a David Stearns masterclass because at the end of the day, although it's a high AAV, it's only a one year deal, and so the Mets still have their best interest in mind, which is making their team better in the long term. I think that the hesitation with David Stearns going into this contract negotiations was how he wants a lot of money for a lot of years, and I'm not sure if that's in the Mets' best interest going 5 years down the line, or even 3 or 4 years down the line. And for us to go into this season saying there were no other options for us to go and making a better move than David Stearns just outdid himself here because one, like I said, he makes everyone happy, but two, he gives us a chance of winning this year, and that's what it's about. We can talk about the other options that we would have had, like you said, but this gives us the best chance of winning because a lot of us forget, man. Pete Alonso is normally a 30 home run, 100 RBI guy, and now we got like 4 of those guys in the lineup, and man, it's just how are you replacing a bat like that this year? And the answer was you're not. And so as much as we want to say David Stearns didn't have any say in this negotiation, he definitely wanted Pete Alonso back, and he got him on the terms that best suited the Mets long term.
Yeah, no, for sure, and that's exactly right. Because the fact that it's a short-term deal, you know, what one thing that scares me is that Pete again is trying to bet on himself, right? And we saw how it went last year. It didn't go very well, and hopefully he's doing it again this year, and hopefully it's one of those things where been there, done that. He's not going to be as pressing like you did last year, just because he's been in the same situation, and you can't go back to the well and do it the same way to make a difference. So hopefully he learns from it and becomes a different, goes back to being Pete. Hopefully the trend that he's going down ends last year, and he's back to being Pete. But at the end of the day, I wish they would have done this earlier, at least before Amazing Day, right? Steve Cohen got on the plane with David Stearns and went down to Tampa to go talk to Pete and Boris face to face, which means Boris couldn't play any games, right? Because he was right there in front of Pete, and eliminate all this game playing that Boris does all the time. Because I imagine after what Steve said, what he said on Amazing Day, Pete was like, wait a second, what is going on with this negotiation? Because he finally started taking control and said, I want to go back to New York, and because we heard the outlet saying that Steve told Pete told Boris that he wants to come back home. And why didn't he do this a month ago and get it done? And that's where I'm at. These players got to start learning that the agents works for them, not the other way around. Yeah, you hire an agent to get you to get you the most money and to do the best. I get it. I'm an agent myself in a different way, and so I understand what all that means. But at the end of the day, you got at the end of the day, the clients tell me what they want, right? I'm working for the client, and these baseball players, these athletes need to do the same. And they work for the athlete, not the other way around. Yes, he's made Boris has made his money by getting other athletes their money, but he's also hurt a bunch of athletes, because this negotiation reminds me of the Chapman Giants negotiation, right? Chapman had to go and talk to Posey on his own to get the deal done, away from Boris. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that these players need to understand, because fans like me are going to get fed up with you, right? Because I root for the front of the jersey. I root for the Mets, and all this agita that Pete was causing me is why I don't even know how to feel today. I'm happy he's back, but I'm also frustrated that he put us through this.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating, and there's no way that Scott Boras deserves to keep his job after losing Pete millions of dollars this year on the contract that he failed to get him and promised him. Because, like you said, he could have gone to Steve Cohen himself and asked for that same deal, if not more. But the one thing I will say about this whole contract negotiation that we learned about Pete Alonso is that at the end of the day, he being a Met was secondary, and I can't blame him because at the end of the day, it's business. But he really didn't care about being a Met. He cared about making the most money, and we just happened to be that team that gave him the most money because we were the team that needed him. It seemed like the most, or who fit Pete the most in that regard. And for me, as a fan that wanted to see Pete back and wants to continue to see him play in a Mets uniform for the rest of his career, at this point, I'm kind of at the point where it's like if he gets on a slump or if he doesn't put up an amazing season like he had, I believe he will. Then it's going to make it a lot easier to wish him farewell next year because the game that he kind of played this year, it's not going to be so sentimental as it was this year. One, because he's going to be able to break that record, and I think that was on top of a lot of Mets fans' minds. But two, he proved that it wasn't really about him being a Met. He showed that he wanted to make the most money, and for me, that takes away some of the feeling from it because I want guys that want to be here just as much as we want them to be here. And prime example is who the podcast is named after, and David Wright. He took a hometown deal to be with the Mets, even though he could have gotten more money testing free agency, probably. And if Pete isn't willing to take a hometown deal, even in the slightest, and put us all on the edge of our seats until a week out of spring training, then it makes it a lot easier on if he doesn't have the amazing season that he does to wish him farewell. But if he does, then I'm still going to be sitting here advocating for him because at the end of the day, like you said, we root for the guys. We root for what's on the front of the jersey, and that's the Mets. And if he has an amazing season, like I believe he will, then that's going to make the Mets better in the long run.
Yeah, no, for sure, and that's the thing, because I agree with you. He wanted to get the most money possible, and if there was a team that was interesting, because obviously, if the rumors are true, Toronto was offering him more money, but he just didn't want to go to Toronto if the money was similar, right? And so, you're right, and I wouldn't even say hometown discount because I'm not even, I don't even care about a hometown discount, but I want it to be fair on both sides, right? The market didn't dictate Pete getting um, a multi-year deal and an AAV of what he got, because let's all be honest, Cohen gave him more than he deserved, according to the market. And as Mets fans, we should be happy about that, that Cohen's willing to go up to that point, but he didn't have to. You know what I mean? And so let's put it all in perspective that Cohen actually gave him more than the market said it needed to. And so when Pete struggles, let's not the same fans start complaining that Pete's struggling because this is what you asked for when we're giving him thirty million dollars.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can't agree more. He has to go out and prove that he's a $30 million player because at the end of the day, if Soto moved over to first 5 years down the line in his career, then Mets fans aren't going to bat an eye of it because hopefully he's going to be putting up the same numbers offensively, and that's what's going to matter. That's the whole argument that I made going this whole offseason was let's talk about the offense instead of the defense or where he plays on the field because that's what really impacts the team more than him playing first base. Yes, that impacts the team, but for me, guys get paid for what they do with their bat. the prime example with Shohei and Judge and even guys like Fernando Tatis or Soto, the latest example. They get paid for what they do with their bat, not their glove. And so I argued that he deserved that 30 million a year, but now he's got to prove that he's a 30 million a year player. There are not many guys that deserve $30 million a year. And Francisco Lindor, you can argue is right above that threshold because of the position he plays. But if you played any other position, then we might not be having that argument. And so, he has to go out, produce this year, and dare I say, win us a championship for this contract to be worth it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This lineup now is basically complete. There'll be some questions if Barte will still be on the team and things like that. But at the end of the day, we have our lineup, right? And so on the next time we're coming to you, we'll talk about lineup construction and things like that. Is there any other moves that the Mets can make right before everybody fully reports? Because now the fun begins, right? Now we can make some tweaks here and there, kind of like what we talked about before. If anybody had any hopes of Jose Iglesias coming back, I think this puts a nail in that coffin. Even though I didn't think he was going to come back anyways, but I think this puts a nail in that coffin because where is he going to play? Right now, there is no spot. A spot might open up if we trade a Marte or something like that. But right now, the roster's complete. Brett Beatty is most likely going to start in AAA now that Alonso's here, and I'm okay with that because we could use the depth, and he can raise his value by playing a couple different positions down there, learn left field, continue to play second, third, and even play some first. Right, have Beatty play some first and just create more value for Beatty. And so, this is going to be a great time. Big shout out to Jonathan in the chat. How you feeling, Jonathan, about this Pete signing? Let us know how you feel. But yeah, I don't think there's any many moves left. What do you think?
Yeah, no. I think we're basically complete. We'll wait till we see what happens with Dylan Cease or any other trades that are available out there. But as far as the free agent market, I think we saw David Stern's masterclass yet again, and we saw where that led us last year, and I'm excited to see where that leads us this year. With even a deadlier lineup than we had last year. And like you said, we'll get into it and what that'll look like going forward. But all I know is that Pete Alonso makes this lineup better. He's going to bring 100 RBIs this year. Dare I say 120 RBIs and have put up a monster season and show why he deserves to get paid $30 million a year going forward. So, let's I'm excited for it. Let's see it happen. Man, dude, this is exciting. Pete Alonso is back in a Mets uniform.
Yeah, I know you never wavered. You wanted Jonathan back. I mean, Pete back, and it happened. I agree with Jonathan. Pete should be mad at Boris. He screwed him, not only by probably talking in his ear that he could get him more money, but we didn't talk about the 3-year deal that Pete kind of didn't want to go with that the Mets offered. 3 years, $71 million, I think, and it's one of those things where he wants to bet on himself, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, no, I completely support it. Go out and show that you are worth that much money. He put up the numbers towards the end of the season in the postseason. So if he can go out and continue to stretch his value into that level where we say, yeah, this guy is that good, then I think that he gets paid the same next year, if not more. And so, it's exciting. Let's hope that that he can do it, and that he can extend his value in that way, because he's going to have a tall task, and a lot. There are a lot of expectations, and that's the one thing that scares me about this signing is that before Pete, there were some expectations, but everyone is expecting us to finish third in the NL East soon. Now there are talks of us competing with, although it's going to be hard, competing with the Braves for the division. And who knows if we're there yet? But those expectations are a lot higher now that Pete Alonso are on the team, and we don't want to see another 2023 situation where we just fall flat on our face. So everyone has to produce. It's not just on Pete, but it's emphasized that Pete needs to produce because of how the offseason went.
Absolutely. So we're gonna finish it here. We wanted to put out a quick video and let you guys know our thoughts on the Pete signing, because we wanted the next video to be more about what's going on and what what the line is going to look like, and any other signings that we might do. So we're gonna leave it there. But let us know how you guys feel about the Pete signing. You get the mixed reaction. You get my feelings. You get Victor's feelings. Let us know which one you agree with. And subscribe to the channel, like this video. And Victor, before we get out of here, any last words?
No, let's go do it. Let's go Mets.
All right, let's go Mets.